What is going on, YouTube? I am here on this very sort of day that is blank day, as I have no words to describe the kind of day this is. Probably slightly negative, seeing as holy shit, my shoulder, I cannot hold my phone. Seeing as I sustained an injury playing basketball, I got Charlie horsed, and this bitch is horsing. Prior to that, I dunked in game, and so I think the guy did not like that very much. Just kidding, it was the prior game, not in the same game. But of course, I'm feeling nice, and I get taken out. But we live. It is one of the more minor things that could happen, so praise be to the universe for that. Now, I started reading Secular Cycles by Peter and I think Sergey. Don't know their last names, but it has vibes of Seeing Like a State, which is talking about like the development of society. And yeah, basically, apparently there are four phases of a secular cycle, which I'm reading here. The integrative phase, which is the population below the carrying capacity of the land. Wages are high, food prices are low, and the peasants thrive. The state is politically stable, and elite overhead is low. And then stagflation, the population approaches environmental carrying capacity. Labor becomes overabundant, causing wages to drop, while land rents and grain prices skyrocket. Now, then you get elite overproduction. As landowners accumulate wealth from high rents, the elite class expands in both numbers and luxury expectations. Competition intensifies for a fixed number of elite positions. This is stuff Professor Jiang, Xujing Jiang. I don't remember his first name. I think it was like Xujing, but I know Professor Jiang. Prof. Jiang has spoken about and is currently afflicting our society, which I found interesting to take note of while reading. And then fiscal distress, and then the disintegrative phase is there's the social system hits a tipping point triggered by external shocks, famine, epidemic, or internal revolt, and this is due to overpopulation, not being able to feed people, people getting paid less, a greedier elite class. As the times are harder for the peasants, it's better for the elites. That's what the book said anyway. But it also starts to get rough for the elites because there's only so many elite spots, and they start to battle each other, fight each other for the limited high status positions. And then the depression phase, where the population reaches a low point and social structures remain fragmented, dynamics, political instability persists until the elite numbers decline to manageable levels, state institutions reset, and population loss restores the balance between land and labor. So that was the intro chapter. That was introducing everything. Basically, the authors synthesized classical Malthusian demographic theory with Jack Goldstone's demographic structural theory to explain why pre-industrial states repeatedly experience long cycles of expansion, crisis, and collapse. Now, right now, I'm curious as to whether that applies to today. I think to an extent it does. And I believe we will be going through various different societies, none modern, or what do you call them? Call them societies. Yeah, and then applying this lens to that. So I should have started with this actually. So the key theoretical foundations. Authors begin with Thomas Malthus's basic insight: population growth tends to outpace resource production, leading to land scarcity, falling wages, rising food prices, and eventual demographic collapse. Oh my god. But then they argue that simple Malthusian models are incomplete because they fail to account for political institutions, social inequality, and elite dynamics. And then they move beyond simple population models, which into interconnected structural components: the population, the elites, the state. So yeah, I guess if you want to take anything away from this, is social structure is composed of the population, the commoners, like myself at the moment, the elites, business owners, tax people, etc., government officials, and then there's the state. Oh, prior to that is hopefully me being a future elite. Don't worry, commoners. I will try to avoid the pitfalls of previous elites. And then the state, yeah. Anyways, I'm very much enjoying the book so far. It's a nice little break from, I guess, the more autobiograph. Why can't I say this word? Autobiographical material. Autobiography. Autobiographical. That was the difficulty. The autobiographical material that I've consumed a plethora of within the past few weeks with the books by Sebastian Mallaby. Now, how much of this book I will enjoy, hopefully, because it seems that these will be the constant themes of the book, hopefully a lot, and there's no gay little chapters that just not interesting to me. But as long as it's about the secular cycle or whatever, and analyzing different pre-industrial societies, then I'm down with that, because I feel like this is very useful and that can help you in understanding the world around you, the world I am currently in at this moment, and things that are going on. It also wonders, point being, yeah, so that is what I'm on about today. I was considering going for a walk, then I thought I'd make this little vlog to try to be a little bit more consistent with my expression of this, because this is what ultimately I would like to be doing on a day-to-day basis, yapping about some intellectual shit that I've been reading. Fortunately, I'm not always feeling very smart. Now, shout out Gemini for the first chapter summary, because it helped me put a lot more words into what I'm reading, because when I read, a lot of it exists to me in vibes and themes, like the secular cycle. I would have just said one word stuff about like cycles, elite, population, the state, the cycles, the integrative phase, the disintegrative phase, the rise and fall. Yeah, and a lot more shallow, but with this, hopefully you have taken something away, and maybe you enjoy this book too, or would enjoy this book too. Shout out Z-Lib. Boom. And with that, we are out.